Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be taking you inside of Pro Tools, inside the Console 1, and we're going to do some acoustic guitar and vocal mixing. Check out some other videos if you want to see other ones, but we started with the song here. This is a good lesson for me and you. The first take is usually the best. So I did this song playing acoustic guitar and singing.
I might as well be gone, but all the same.
Right? And I didn't like the first take, but I think it came out the best it could have. I was a little sick at the moment, so I decided to keep doing takes the whole rest of the afternoon, and I ended up doing 4 takes. So a lot of time there's the point of diminishing returns with these takes. So let's get into the mixing. The first thing I did, I muted this, right? The hotkey for that is, if you're on Windows, it's Control E, and then that cuts the area, and then Control M to mute. If you're Apple, it might be a different command button than Control. And then I'm zooming in and out with Control bracket right and left, zooming in and out. So I'm mixing through this Console 1 and Avid Artist Mix so that it's very tactile and I can see exactly what I'm doing with the signals. And it's just acoustic guitar and vocals, so it's not that complicated. The signal chain, we've got the acoustic guitar is going to the mix bus, and so is the vocal track here. And the mix bus has a number of effects, and we'll dive into that in a second on it. And it's going to a print track, and actually let me change that, put it to the output, and I'll explain the print track later. Let me mute that. And so now the 2 instrumental tracks here are going directly to this master fader being bussed in, and the output is my headphones. You should normally always mix on speakers, but I'm doing on headphones for reasons of broadcasting to you guys to share with you. So let's just dive into a section of the song and hear how it sounds, and hear some of the tweaks I made. I'll turn them all off, and you'll hear what it sounded like first.
Too long. Now if love is a freeway, I might as well be gone.
As you can hear, the studio is totally no reflections. I have acoustic panels all around me, and there's like almost no reverb or delay in this room.
Planting a seed in the rain. Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain.
So my vocal and guitar are very dry so that I can add effects afterward.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame. I might as well be gone.
So that's dry. So now let's bring the Console 1 in. So there we go. And I like to control that like that. And I've just got a little bit of EQ bump on the low gain of the guitar. That's it. And some compression. And you'll see the compression kick in on the meter here. And I like to keep it around 3 dB right there. So let's hear that.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
Let's hear it, just the guitar.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
The other thing I'm doing is I'm putting a little bit of output gain, almost 2 dB, and a little bit of drive. This is kind of a distortion and character that kind of mimics the SSL 4000E console gain. So I love that. You know, if you check the channel before, I record in through my X-Logic SSLs, and I like to mix with the SSL vibe too. I think it's a slight improvement. Okay, let's bring the vocal back in. And I've got them panned off a little to the left and right here.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
Switching to the vocal, I've got a little bit of a mid bump, or sorry, mid cut, about 0.7 dB, around 2.5 kilohertz, and a little bit of a low mid bump around 1 kilohertz.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame. I might as well be gone, but all the same.
And of course, I've got the requisite compression on there.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
Just a little bit, just a little bit.
Listen, I might as well be gone, but
When you're seeing the compression kick up to 3 there, those are the guitar hits. I'm keeping just a little kiss of compression on the vocal because I'm going to compress it later.
you toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame. Listen, I might as well be gone, but all the
That was fun. That was a phase invert.
you toss and you turn and you
So I was in phase. So that's if you click that button, that's really cool. I didn't even know that was on there. If you click that button on a normal console or on the console one, and the track sounds thinner and worse, that means you mic'd things properly and the mics are in phase. If you click that phase inversion button and it sounds better, that means your mics were a little messed up and you should watch your miking technique. So my mic was okay. I was looking for the bypass. Where did it go? Oh, shift. I have to shift. Otherwise, it's a phase inversion.
you toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame. Listen, I might as well be gone, but all the same.
That's why I love the console one. Do you see how I can just, with my fingers, I'm not using a mouse. I'm looking at the screen, but I'm using my fingers. I'm touching buttons. And it's just so great. You can hear the vocal is just a little punchier, a little clearer in your face, a little compression. So let's move on to the other effects I'm using. Which one was it? I started with this and I didn't like it.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame. You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame. Toss and you turn and you burn at the things you.
I just didn't like it, the way it was sitting in the mix and so forth. These are sometimes subjective decisions, so don't second guess yourself too much. If it sounds good, keep it on, tweak it a little. If it sounds bad, use the next one.
Toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
I think that sounded much better.
Toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
Just filled out the vocal and just made it a lot clearer and stronger.
Toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame. Listen, I might as well be.
Moving on to the next, I have an H delay on.
Listen, I might as well be gone, but all the same. Well.
So I've just got it set real conservatively. I've got a little, I pulled the high and low pass knobs up a little. I don't like them all the way to the side. And I got a little feedback on there and I dialed the delay way back. And I got the dry wet mix way, what is it, 9 or something, less than 10. So just a hint of delay because we're going to add some nice, sweet, luscious reverb in a sec.
Listen, I might as well be gone, but all the same.
Almost like a slap back kind of, just adding a little, because I recorded the vocal so dead and dry, I have the opportunity to add space and play with the colors of the depth and width in the post. If I had recorded in a conventional space with no treatment, I will be stuck with the reverbs and delays that were in the room, and then if I wanted to add certain very specific delays like this, it might screw up the mix. So that's one of the great reasons to record your stuff close mic'd and in a totally treated space.
Listen, I might as well be gone, but all the same. Well, I've been living alone. Listen, I might as well be gone, but all the same. Well, I've been living alone too long. Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain. You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
And you notice I don't have a ton of reverb on there. If your style calls for it, go for it. But you know, I have this kind of little 1970s, what do they say? Fast diffuse attack, downsampled 10K hertz bandwidth, dark, noisier modulation. I don't know, I just like the way it sounds better than some of the other ones on my stuff sometimes because I have a 70s vibe in my stuff. But you might like the 80s or the now. I just dialed the decay, you know, I just dialed it into where it sounded good.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain.
See what it sounds like if I dial it way up.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the. Being with.
Oh, it's a smooth plate. I should mention it's not a. Oh, it's still going. It's still going. That's way too much. So yes, smooth plate is you know, versus a concert hall or a plate or something. I like the smooth plate on the vocal. You just, you know, pick and choose, you know, trial and error till you land on something.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain. You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
You hear how it's subtle. You almost can't tell that there's reverb on there. If you A/B it with the bypass, it just fills out the vibe and the sound.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain.
You wouldn't want to listen to it without it on there, in other words. That's the way I look at every effect. If it doesn't sound better with it on, why put it on? If it sounds the same or worse, what are you doing? Put something else on there or leave it alone.
Being with you is like planting a seed.
Now I put some bus compression.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain.
And I made sure to level match it so that it's only doing a few dB, you know, 3.8 or whatever dB.
Being with you is like planting.
It's actually kicking up past 4 here now, but it's okay. Less is more with the makeup gain.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain. You toss and you.
And then I add some stereo widening.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain.
So I didn't add punch on this one, but I did add a little bit of sides, 1.3 dB. It's a cookie cutter thing, you know, with these 2 tracks or 3 track real simple songs. Nice to get some stereo width in there.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain.
Almost can't tell.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you.
Oh, that one's actually pretty pronounced. You can really hear it widen out.
Being with you is like planting a.
Okay, and then I add some hard limiting with Maxim.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain.
Just a little bit louder.
You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
So all these small changes and the net effect is one big change. So let's hear it without everything and I'll pull it back in.
Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain. You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame. Being with you is like planting a seed in the rain. You toss and you turn and you burn at the things you blame.
I think there's no contest. One sounds kind of amateurish, the other sounds totally pro and professional, ready to go, get on TikTok, YouTube, etc. Let me show you one thing, how I print the track. I print it down to a 2-track because I just like to do it the old-fashioned way, and a lot of time in the playback, I'll be listening and I'll catch something and I'll catch a tweak here and there. Until you get that last 2-track, you know, printing, that's going to be it. You know, you're still tweaking endlessly, and I find that actually playing the song back in the room while I walk around gives me a different perspective on it, and I usually come back and make a little tweak here and there that ends up making it a lot better. So the way I do that is I will change this routing back from out 1-2 to print, and I already got the input set to print on the print track, and that's set to out 1-2, and then you just arm it to record. Take it off mute, and I'll just record a little section, but you would basically just hold this.
Talking to you.
See how even just taking that one thing off there made the guitar sound worse? It's like, this is such a subtle process, but at the end, it's really not. It's really quite a difference. And when you pair it with the video, I found it's hard to even tell that there are effects on there. But when you play it side by side with whatever was on your phone, or even if you had nice mics like me, but in a dry environment without effects, it's really noticeable the difference between the mixed mastered track and the one that's kind of not got that juju and that magic and that vibe. And it does take an extra 15-20 minutes, you know, to do, but I think it's worth it, just like everything in this magical musical art that we do. So if this production tutorial helped you today, please drop a like, please drop a comment below. What's your signal chain look like? What are some of the kind of videos you want to see, and what are some of the challenges and questions you have for me? I'm happy to answer them. Please consider subscribing below. I'm Yusuf, and I'll see you next time.